Stay faithful, my friend. Stay faithful, my friend. Faithful, my friend.
What's going on, everybody? Y'all know who this is. Michael T. Johnson, the second here with Faithful. What's happening, y'all? Give me 1 second as I make all of this stuff right. We getting there. Why is it showing up? There we go. Man, I will not be super long. What I do know is that I am probably in between you watching Miami and Ole Miss play the game, and I know better than to hold people up when they're ready to watch sports. All right, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Whether you are from YouTube, from Instagram, from TikTok, Facebook, wherever you are from, as always, Bone Squad, what's happening? Cat, what's happening? Kaylee, what's happening? Wherever you are from, make yourself seen. Let it be known that you in the spot. Make some noise if you here with the faithfuls. Real quick, before y'all watch this game, I want to put this on your mind. Maybe it will be of some profitability to you. And if not, just enjoy how good I look. Enjoy the aesthetic. Enjoy the fact of the matter that you know me and that you just supporting and you just doing your good deed for the day. All right, so before we get started real quick, I got this amber and sandalwood candle. It's not super expensive, but it smells like it is. It's all about understanding your notes. That's not just for musicians. And last but not least, the fragrance of the day is the fragrance that started it. Started me being viral is, as yesterday I had Xershoff, and today, boom, ooh-wee. This is the one that really kind of started off my cologne journey when it came to social media. I have over 10,000 views on this. It is Xershoff Alexandria 2. It never gets old. And you are in the wintertime, you need a fragrance that holds its own, that when wind, snow, rain is upon you, that your cologne will stay on you. All right, so Xershoff Alexandria 2, make sure you cap it. If you get it, I don't have any reference links or no affiliate links, so I'm not trying to sell you something so I can make money. I just want you to smell refreshing. I promise to God, I got at least 4 to 5 compliments today. Maybe it was 6, 7. Y'all gotta excuse me in my corniness. Y'all know I'm going crazy. The horn is going crazy. All right, I'm feeling good. It is proven that if you wake up and you get that workout in the morning, it just does something for you for the rest of the day. If you watch my Instagram story, my Facebook story, you know I've been moving since 4:40 this morning. I've worked 3 jobs. I went to the school. I've came to the shop. I've came here and did social media for you. All right. And I still managed to have a parenting responsibility as well as a husband responsibility. So shout out to me for holding it down. All right. So if you have seen a title, you've seen a title and it says this: different, but the same. All right. So maybe you do or don't know where I'm going. If you do, go ahead and put the guess in the box. If you don't, go ahead and buckle up and enjoy the ride. All right. So different, but the same. And what this ultimately is about is, for some of us, when we're in this start of a new year, there are some of us that have been changing things in our lives. All right. There are some things that we've attempted to do, some things that we have done, and we've changed them. Right. But it still seems like even though we've changed things in our lives, we keep getting the same result. All right. So, obviously, as I talked about yesterday, the same thing still is today, that there are a bunch of people that have created New Year's resolutions from 2025, 2026. It might have even went 10 years ago from 2015 and 2016. You've been doing the same thing, talking about how you were going to get rid of those love handles, and you still haven't. All right. Fellas was ready to get rid of those man boobs and they still there. Girls been talking about how they want to tighten up and get rid of that cellulite, but it's still there. All right. So some people been talking about they was going to budget their money better, and yet there's still no money there. All right. So how is it that we are getting to the point where we're changing things externally and things are not changing? All right. Well, the reality is that although you might have changed friends, you've changed relationships, you've changed diets and cities and jobs and, places that you used to go and so forth and so on, it's not going to work, because the problem isn't that. The problem is this. All right. And the problem is us. And I believe the highest form or the highest level of maturity is self-accountability. All right. And so, yeah, you had a friend that stabbed you in the back at one point, and then, you thought that at that point, that was the reason why you left this person alone. And you get another person, and then this person that stabs you in the back, and then this person has become a Judas to you as well. And you're like, why do I keep having these people in my life that keep doing me wrong? Let me let you in on a secret. It's probably because they're attracted to something that's inside of you. I'm going to get off your back. But after I say this, see, what happens is that a lot of times that you get to snickering and bickering and gossiping about certain things, there are people that are noticing that you are the type of person that they like to create a dysfunctional bond with. All right, let's just be honest real quick. Do I need to slow down, or do y'all need to speed up? I really, man, hey. But the reality is of the situation is that throughout these situations, there is things and signals that people are picking up, and then you're starting to pick up people in your life that are what's the word I want to say? They're not worthy of trust. They're not trustworthy. Let me spell it like that. All right. And what's happening is that part of that is because you're not trustworthy. And you might say, God, brother, I've never snaked nobody. I never did nobody like this. But you're lying. Because the reality is that you've been lying to you. Yeah, you've been lying to you. All right. And because you've been lying to you and you've been backstabbing your own self, you going like this, you backstabbing yourself. What's happening is that now, whether you know it or not, you've been attracting people that have not been right for you. And although you've changed friends over and over and over, you still see that year in and year out, somehow you still keep taking on these type of friends. Even though you've worked at this job and they weren't paying you enough, and then you got a job that paid you enough and you still weren't happy. Maybe it's because you're changing the thing, but you're not changing the being. All right, the person that you are. So let's figure out how this actually happens. All right. Most people, I wrote this down, that most people believe change happens when life around them changes, but real change happens when the person inside the life changes. All right. Most people think that life is going to change around them, but real change happens when you, as the person, change the life that you, or to change the person that you are in the life that you live. All right. And so I've talked a lot about this throughout videos that I have done, but let me just continue to paint this picture. I know multiple people that I've known throughout years of life and in different stages of my life. You know, as well as I do, that there are people that might say that I want to, start taking my finances serious. All right. They're ready to take care of their finances serious. Now, they're the person themselves that if they were being accountable, and some of the people have evaded the accountability and some people have taken the accountability. But even in that accountability, there's still a part of them that doesn't change. And truth be told, a part of it is because they lack accountability. But let me just move on. People end up, what they do is they start saying, you know what? I want to have more money this year. I want to take care of my finances for whatever reason. All right. And then what happens is they start, instead of learning how to be more skillful, learn how to budget better, what they start doing is they start cutting expenses. And as they're cutting expenses, one thing that they don't stop, they might limit it, but they don't stop it, is bad habits. All right. How many people do we know that have said that they want to make more money and they're saying, well, they're blaming the club. They're blaming Jordan for keep coming out with these releases. They keep blaming DoorDash and Uber Eats. They keep blaming their kids that need expensive things. They keep blaming that they need house repairs, or there's this car that they have, or the parlays don't hit, or the casino, or they're talking about this weed, or they keep blaming all of these things. And as they're saying, now I want to make sure that I got the money. And now they're trying to make these adjustments. And guess what? At this point, they're really not going up under the tutelage of somebody that's actually great with money. And what they do is they cut out some things that are important. They stop going to the gym. Say, hey, man, I can't pay for the gym membership. They stop doing the mentorship. They stop doing the things that actually doesn't just medicate them for the now, but also make sure that they don't ever get into the situation again, only to realize that they still actually like the drinking. They limit that. They don't cut that out the way. A part of them still likes to shop. They still like to do the Amazon. They still like to go on Zara. They still like to go on Shein. They still like to go, to whatever store that they shop, Target or to the mall. They like getting shoes or the Nike Tech outfit. They still like buying weed. They still like gambling. They still like buying games. They still like doing stupid. They limit it when it needs to be eliminated. All right. And so what happens is that throughout our lives, what we start to do is we start to fix things and give attention to things outside of us, when really God is trying to show you that even though you in a new city, even though you got that house, even though you got that new car, even though you're a newlywed, it's still going to end up in disaster because you have not chosen to take accountability, and not only take accountability, but make the necessary adjustments. Woo! That was some fucking heat right there. The crickets. I'm telling you, man, this is a sword that cuts two ways. All right. I've been in the place and I know that this happens to more than just me. All right. So what we have to understand is that until that happens, you can upgrade everything around you and still live the same experience. I've known multiple people growing up in the city that I live in. It's a small city. And funny enough, that when you do the Google search and at one point or 1 year in my life, you used to be able to look up the top most miserable cities to live in, and my city was one of them. All right. And inside of that, what ended up happening was people would say, I want to move to Atlanta. I want to move to Miami. I want to move to Houston or Dallas. I want to move to New York. I want to move to Chicago. I want to move to LA. They move. They try to groove, and then they move back. All right. And the reason why is because while you're traveling and you're bringing your luggage, what you're also doing is bringing your baggage. All right. You're bringing all of the bad habits, all of the bad mindsets, all of the childhood trauma, all of the lack of accountability and lack of discipline. And you're bringing it to all of these other places. And truth be told, these places have enough of those people already. They really don't need you. All right. And so what happens is that people think that they can go into these different places and find out that, oh, you know, it's just the city. Once I change my landscape, that's going to change me. But let me tell you, happiness is who you are, not something that you just feel. All right. That's something that, let me tell you, I know that I wish I had the explosion button right now, but I'm telling you that happiness is not just a feeling. It is a being. All right. If you are a happy person, you find a way to feel happiness. All right. And when you go to these places, you must understand whatever the switch is or the pivot is, if it's a city, if it's a relationship, if it's a friend, if it's a job, if it's a place that you used to go, no matter what it is, the people that you hang around, there is no real thing as destination happiness. And I know that you watching people travel. I know that you seeing them take reels and videos of new hotels that they go to, and they're eating these cool dishes and they going on all these excursions. And what you don't really know is that that person looks happy. But if you watch long enough, you'll watch these people drinking and smoking and gaining weight, all because stress response. And when you don't see these people on these vacations, hey, look, my Gordon, he already know. He told me I see it all the time. Because what you don't see is that when they're not on vacation, they're living a nightmare. And because you see the dream part, you think that they don't live the nightmare. All right. And what usually a lot of times happens is that throughout these situations, people are watching snapshots of what they think is a vacation, but really what this is relief from a reality that they live day in and day out. Man, I'm telling you right now, I wish I had an amen in the building. But I'm going to just drink some of my water just to cool down a little bit. So what we must understand is that destination happiness is a trick of the enemy. It is a delusion to make you think that you can't have health emotionally. You can't have health mentally unless you go to unless you go to Baytown. Hey, Cat, that's where you from. Hey, unless you go to Baytown, you can't. Unless you go to Houston, you can't be happy. But the truth is that whether Michael T. Johnson II is in Ohio, in Indianapolis, in LA, no matter what, guess what? I'm not bringing a person that's not happy with himself. I'm not bringing a person that's not excited about every single day that I live. I'm bringing somebody that's bringing value, that's bringing light to a place. That even if a room is full of people that's unhappy, that's not my thermostat. I'm my own thermostat. And when I go into a room of darkness, I'm going to bring my light. I'm going to bring value. All right. And so I'm not looking for that from something outside of me. I'm not looking for anything, any feeling, any of that outside of me. That's my responsibility because I am the CEO of my life. All right. And I get to, at that point, because I know I got some church people that are afraid to be this confident. I know I got some unchurched people that are afraid to be this confident. I'm not saying I'm edging God out. What I'm saying is because I'm the CEO of my life, I got free will and I submit myself under his authority. And because I do that, guess what? I got peace. I got peace and I'm put together. I'm not broken. And so at this point, I don't, in one of the most miserable cities in the United States, statistically, I'm still one of the most happiest, most pleasant people that I believe in this I almost cussed, in this effing nation because of the fact that it matter that who I am and whose I am. All right. And so this happens by understanding that happiness starts within. All right. Happiness starts from within. So I've tried in my life to change different things. And I'm not saying that those changes weren't necessary. but they weren't more of a priority than the change that I had to have inside of me. Now, most people are afraid of this. Most people are afraid to do or to be introspective, which means to look inside of you, to do inventory, to realize at this point, hey, as terrible as it sounds, as up as it might seem, you're the problem. But the beautiful thing is at this point is that you can also be the solution. All right. You could be the problem for all of these years. You could be the person that burns relationships and don't pay back money. And, you know, you had a record of doing wrong, and you got a record of not having integrity. And guess what? You can change that. You might not change the minds of people that are looking at you, but you can change the way that you are as a person. And those people that God has designed for you to help will be there after you make that change. But changing your account is not, it shouldn't, let me say it like that. Changing your account should not be the culprit of what changes you. All right. Whether it's sunny outside, snowing or raining, whether you had caffeine in the morning or you haven't, that should not be the reason of why you change. Do you know how many people I know that if they don't have coffee, that they're miserable people? That ain't me. Because guess what? That's still an external thing. I don't need coffee to feel good. Now, if that's you, that's you. I ain't knocking you. I'm gonna let you do your thing. But you need to, if you care about the change in 2026, you need to be able to show up as a different person so that you can have a different result. All right. Biblical reference is this. Jesus said that you would know a tree. I know that some people's ears are bleeding when I use the name Jesus. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. Jesus said that you would know a tree by its fruit. All right. You would know a tree by its fruit. If the tree keeps giving the same fruit, let's say it's bad fruit, it's rotten fruit, well, we know at this point it's not the season. All right. I know as people tell, well, it's seasons, you know, you're going to walk into the season. Well, if the tree is effed up, it doesn't matter if it's your season or not. The tree is messed up. A bad tree in a good season is still going to produce bad fruit. Man, I promise you, I know I'm talking better than most people listening. You take a bad tree, put it in a good season, and it's still not going to produce good fruit. All right. So we know it's not the season. We know it's not even honestly the soil. All right. It's not even the soil, and it's not even the location. A tree is going to be exposed by its fruit. There's no way that you can get around that. All right. It's the tree, and the tree is me. The tree is me. Now, the difference that you have over an actual literal tree is that a tree has to be tended to change. You can do the tending to yourself. All right. You can choose to submit yourself under an authority, whether that is on a practical level, whether you need a mentor, a coach, a financial advisor, a therapist, a pastor, whatever the thing is. Speaking of pastor, let me tell you this. Do you know that let me change my camera for you real quick. Do you know that there are a lot of people, I've been to church all my life, so I'm sorry that this is a little bit of an internal inner circle thing. So I'm kind of letting y'all in on something. All right. Do you know that I have been in church so long and I've seen people join churches, be excited about that church, then be upset with that church, leave that church, join another church, be excited at that church, get disappointed with that church and leave that church again. And at some point, it's got to be you. At some point, it's got to be something wrong with you. If you keep leaving this pastor and this church and this religion and this denomination and everywhere you go, the same lack of discipline is there. The same you that don't want to pray, the same you that don't want to read, the same you that don't want to study. And you're thinking at this point that a pastor in the church is going to do the change for you. And what you do, you go around blaming the pastors, talking about, I wasn't getting fed there. No, mother, you wasn't eating the food that was prepared for you. There's been plenty of times in my life that my mom and dad have given me food that I didn't like. What would I look like saying that they didn't feed me? I just don't like the food. Hey, I'm not a person that likes seafood. If my dad, at this time, I remember when me and my dad and my brother was going to the movies. Crazy how this just surfaced. And my dad made us eat tuna and was like, we had tuna sandwiches. And I guess I can't remember, like my mom packed or he made or something. And he was like, until y'all eat these tuna sandwiches, y'all not going into the movie theater. And man, let me tell you, I tried to shove that tuna sandwich in my mouth and eat it. No diddy. And I tried to eat it. And man, I'm telling you, I was throwing that stuff up. I didn't eat the sandwich. Somehow, hey, my dad was like, you know what? He just don't eat seafood. Is tuna seafood considered? Yeah, it got to be, right? But either way, I digress because I'm in a flow. So, but here it is at this point. It wasn't that my dad didn't feed me. It wasn't that my mom didn't feed me. It's that I didn't like the food that was presented. And there's a lot of times that in this parallel that we don't like the food that's being presented. We don't like that people are disciplining us. We don't like that somebody's told us the real about ourselves. We don't like that we have to be patient. All right. And here it is at this point, you're trying to rush something. And the reality is that you tried to fix 30, 40, 50, 60 years of an issue in 1 year. And you thought that 2025 was a failure because your whole life didn't change in 2025. And you heard somebody else's story, and it seems like they went through so much turmoil, and then they ended up selling these T-shirts, and they started this business, or they moved to this place, and their whole life changed from that. And you thinking, why can't my life be like that? Because you done got motivated by that. But let me tell you that your path is not their path. Your path is your path. And it's nothing wrong with your life taking a little longer. As my guy Cat used to say, good food takes time. He still says it now, but good food takes time. All right. It takes time. And so at this point, are you willing to be more patient? Not do patience. I'm saying, are you willing to be more patient? All right. If your body doesn't change just because you went to the gym for a week, would you still persist even though you don't see the result that you want? Will you still perform in spite of not getting the validation and the encouragement that you think that you should be entitled to from people that love you or like you or people that are even around you for a long time? All right. And so here it is at this point, when it comes to 2026, I want you to understand that, hey, yo, I know people are saying that 26 is going to be different, but what if it's really just still a consistency thing and maybe your life just doesn't look like what you thought it was supposed to look like? What if this still is a background year for you? What if this is just a year that actually, Instagram and Facebook still doesn't see any results, but you know that you're going in the right direction? But when you look back at your plan, you're looking at your plan and saying, hey, you know what? I know life ain't going the way that I want to. It's not going as fast as I would want to. But when I look at my plan, I'm saying that I know I got to work this plan. Hey, I know that I need money right now. But the only reason why I'm putting so much pressure on my right now is because I haven't been proactive with my financial intelligence all this time. Hey, is it possible that you're praying so hard for something to happen because you lacked prayer so much throughout your life? Is it possible that the body that you have right now that's not going to change in a week, no matter if you got Ozempic or not, is not going to change as quick as you want because you've had years of destroying your liver and your kidney and your insulin resistances through terrible and hey, can we just be honest? All right. So at this point, we have to, I'm going to leave this live saying this because it's the end of my notes, unless y'all got a question for me and I can go through and go through this. But if your results don't change this year, can you honestly say you did? All right. If the results in your life don't change, are you still able to at least say you did? All right. There are a lot of times in my life, man, let me be honest with y'all. There are a lot of times in my life that I've watched the YouTubes. There are a lot of times in my life that I've read the books and I'm listening to these millionaires and these billionaires say that this is what they did. And they're telling me their top 5 books and I've read them. And it seems like for some reason in that month, it feels like my money actually went down. They're telling me that they did this and did that, and I'm following in it. I'm following this thing by the book. All the X's and O's, the play that they give me, I run it, and I'm great with it. And it still seems like my life isn't turning. Well, at the end of the year, a lot of times I'm able to see that, hey, you know what? I actually, personally, even if financially or professionally, I didn't necessarily advance, I know that personally, I could see that, you know what? I actually kept trying. I actually kept trusting. I actually kept building on my personal relationship with God. And so, if we were to be honest, as I have, I can ask you, how many times have you bought the courses? And you bought this real estate course. You bought this course that was supposed to help you with this skill. You done paid for mentorships. You done went to the right networking engagements, and yet and still, it's still you not fully capitalizing. You're not asking the questions. You're being too cool with these mentors. You're being too cool or too passive with the course that you bought. All right. How many times have you bought the membership and then you said you were going to start, and you did, but you didn't continue? All right. How many times have you said you was going to leave this person alone and you still went back? How many times have you said you was going to stop doing this thing and you continue to do it? How many times have you said that you was going to be more of a generous person? You were going to help more people, and somehow you got caught up in being selfish? It's because at the end of the day, truth be told, you really don't want things outside of you to change and you not change. Because all you end up looking like is a bigger fool for fumbling the fortune, the blessing, the favor that God gave you. That's what I got. I love y'all. I appreciate it. Okay. Let me answer this question. Cole, what's happening with you? Cole said this. What was the watermark even where the tide changed for you? Can you pin a point to it, or an event? And when was an event where the tide changed for you? Can you pinpoint? Actually, I truly can. So the change for me, and you know what? The change for me happened after I failed high school. All right. And the truth be told, I had, and I still do have, great support. I have great family members, great men in my life. I have great mentors, great friends. And what ended up happening when I failed high school, I always say this, I failed high school, and meaning that I didn't graduate on time. All right. And what ended up happening, I went through some things with my household where I was living with my mom, and I moved out and I moved with my grandparents, and all of these things started crumbling down in my life. I was a person that if you would have looked at, you would have thought, hey, it would be a no-brainer that he would graduate. Nobody would have thought that I wouldn't have graduated. And it was this whole mass that I had. And when I was all alone, I remember that I was I had a Walkman at that point. You know, you're talking about 2007. I had a Walkman, and I had these earphones on, and I remember the difference that I felt, because when I was living with my mom, I had my siblings in the house, and then here it is, I live with my grandparents, and they used to go to the room, and I would be in the house pretty much walking and moving around by myself. And I remember I was laying on the couch, and I was in the den, and I had the TV on, and I turned it off, and I was listening to music. And I remember I turned, and I was facing the cushion of my couch, and I had these earphones on, and a song came on by Mary Mary, and I believe that the title of the song is I Can't Give Up Now. All right. And I remember listening to that song, and I remember crying, because all of this facade and this mask that I was wearing, it was like, at this point, all of that stuff got broken. My pride was broken. I didn't have any emotion. And at this point, I'm crying, And I'm like, man, if I ever get a chance to ever, uh, get back into school or I get another opportunity, I'm gonna take it serious. And throughout that season in my life, I was trying to fill a void of emptiness with women. All right. And I sold myself out to try to get the attention of women. And at that point, I remember that moment crystal clear. And I remember that God said this, that before you can learn to be with anybody, you have to learn how to be with me. And the interesting thing is that all the time I used to think, most of my life from that moment, I always remembered that. But I used to always think that that meant before I could be with a person, like another person outside of me. And then I come to realize that God was saying that even before you learn how to be with you need to learn to be with me. And that shifted my entire life. Now, I'm not saying I was perfect. I'm not saying that I had no jankiness, but what I'm saying is that at that point, what it allowed me to do is to now pivot my attention to only one thing, and really, honestly, not even one thing, one person. And I wasn't like reading a Bible every single day and memorizing scriptures. It was just that was something that I needed to know, that I needed to acknowledge him. And then at that point, for me acknowledging him, he was going to direct my path. And I didn't even look at it that way. All right. And I wasn't blaming anybody from my school. I didn't say my counselor did this and my school district did this and I'm in Toledo. It was, I just knew at that point in my life that it was me. All right. And the funny thing about it was I used to be a professional evader of accountability. Even now, my friends probably say that I don't like being wrong, or I have a hard time taking accountability, or let me say this, or apologizing or saying when I'm wrong. All right. I'm very strong in my opinion. I'm very strong in my influence and the way that I present things. But in this point, that cut through all the BS. And at that point, what ended up happening is that by me saying, okay, cool, I'm with that. Just what I would say is natural. It honestly was God's hand. What happened is that things just started lining up. My grandmother told me, hey, Mikey, I want you to go back and get your diploma. I talked to your uncle. Your uncle said that this is what you can do, and he found out some steps. That helped me. Then after that, I do the schooling. I finish that out. I graduate right after that. My brother Tawan tells me, hey, bro, I'm going to barber school. They got one spot left. You should get into it. I think it'll be a great thing. I'll show you everything I know. And even if it ain't something that you want to do for the rest of your life, it'd be something that you can, you have a skill in your pocket that can make you some money. And from there, the rest is history. All right. I went to barber school. I found out my purpose, and my purpose was people. All right. And out of all the selfishness that I had in my life, I realized that the only way that I could get rid of my selfishness, and I think that this is a universal rule and a universal principle. The way that I was able to get rid of my selfishness was by serving God and serving people. That eliminated selfishness. Every time that I've seen selfishness arise in my life and want to grip me, I've noticed that that's when I have stopped serving, or having my mindset is not on serving people. Now, I don't know exactly how that happens on a actual functioning of the mind and spirit, but what I know is this, is that has helped me. Serving has helped me so much to get rid of selfishness, serving others, serving God. That helped me tremendously. And once I got that and I realized, it's me. And at this point now, if you know me, if you talk to me, you know that one, I'm going to be direct with you and tell you what you need to change if that's what the space that we're in. But they know I enjoy understanding that I have creative control over my life. I like that. I enjoy that. I'm thankful for that. I'm glad to know that it's that easy. That at this point, that whatever the complexity of the problem is that you deal with in your life, that the solution is the same. You. That's the solution. The solution is you. What you do with your free will. Who do you submit to? Because all of us need to. All right. Submission in the Christian world is not a negative, soft, beta word. It actually is a word that actually is what puts you in the winner's position. In life, submission is a way in which you admit defeat. Submission in the Christian way of life is the way that you profess victory. That's what I got, man. If y'all got any more questions, y'all let me know. But let me check real quick. Your plan has to be adaptable because the environment might change along the journey. Now that's fire. Jason, that's fire. Cole, thank you for the question. If y'all need anything, y'all let me know. In the meantime, make sure that if you are on my YouTube, go to my Instagram. If you're on my Instagram, make sure that you hit the link. Patreon content. If you enjoyed this, my Patreon has a library of different type of topics that I believe that will fit what it is that you're going through in your life. And I am a big believer that you were not created to go through this life a victim. All right. I believe that you were not created, or you were created not to sit there and complain about how the government is doing this and how the president is doing this, and look what they're doing in Israel, and look at how they're taking our people, and look at the cuts, and look at it. No, your life was given to you for you to live in victory. It's not to be a victim, but to be a victor. All right. And as corny as that might sound, it is the truth that you were created to not only do things great, but you were created great. You were created to be in the image and likeness of God. And whether you like it or not, I don't care. But that's what I got. I'll catch y'all in a minute. If y'all need anything, let me know. But in the meantime, between time, stay faithful, my friend. Peace.
Fresh. Stay faithful, my friend.